Hi everyone, today I'll show you how to make matcha and white chocolate shokupan. First, we need to prepare the liquid ingredients at the right temperature. The target dough temperature after mixing is 26 to 28 degrees. This dough temperature range gives the yeast the best environment and helps control the fermentation time. It was already 27 degrees in my kitchen today, so I even added a few ice cubes to the dough. For the instructions on adjusting the temperature of the liquid, please refer to the description below. Combine the water and milk, then add the condensed milk and mix well. Bring the butter to room temperature. Now that everything is ready, let's begin mixing. Place the black flour and matcha powder in the bowl of your stand mixer. I always use flour with a protein content of 12 to 13% for that light fluffy texture. By the way, I'm Satomi and I run English-friendly bread baking classes in Tokyo. Since all my students like matcha, I wanted to introduce this bread. Matcha is incredibly popular around the world, and I'm sure this bread will become one of your favorites too. It also makes a perfect gift. Anyone who receives it will be so happy. Now let's move on with the recipe. Add sugar, salt, and instant dry yeast. Mix all the dry ingredients with a spatula first so that they absorb liquid evenly. Add the liquid to the dried ingredients. Again, mix roughly so everything blends smoothly once we start kneading with a stand mixer. Attach the dough hook and start mixing on low speed. It's level 2 if you're using KitchenAid. Once the flour is fully incorporated, increase to medium speed, level 4, and knead for about 10 minutes. At first, the dough might stick to the bottom of the bowl. That's completely normal. Don't rush to add more flour. As the gluten forms, the dough will come together naturally. Additionally, because matcha tends to absorb moisture, it's ideal for the dough to be slightly sticky at the end of kneading. If the dough looks firm, add the butter little by little. After 10 minutes, the dough becomes stretchy. The gluten hasn't fully developed yet, but it's time to add the softened butter. We add it at this point because fat hinders yeast activation. In order to build the gluten structure first, it's better to add the butter later. Knead on medium speed for another 12 to 15 minutes until the dough becomes smooth and elastic. Right after adding the butter, the dough will become sticky again. But as you keep kneading, the gluten develops and the dough gets stronger, so don't worry and just keep going. It's been 13 minutes. Let's check the gluten with the window pane test. Take a small piece of dough and stretch it slowly between your fingers. If you can stretch it thin without tearing, it's ready. If it breaks, just knead for a few more minutes and test again. Now we strengthen the dough using the slam and fold technique. Slide your forefingers under the dough, excluding your thumbs. Lift and gently slam it onto the work surface. Then fold it over. Don't use thumbs to hold the dough as you may damage it. Support it with the base of your thumbs. The goal isn't just to slam the dough. What's important is gently stretch it as you pull it towards yourself. That motion helps develop strong gluten so the dough can trap gas better during fermentation. Do this 20 times. Check the dough temperature. It should be around 26 to 28 degrees. Lower than that and it rises slowly. Higher and it rises quickly, so keep eye on it during proofing. Let's prepare for the first proof. Shape the dough into a ball by tucking the edges underneath using your fingers. Place it seam side down in a bowl. Cover with a damp towel and let it rise until more than doubled in size. Now, it's more than doubled in size. I usually proof the dough in a 35 degrees proofer, but my dough came out of the mixer around 30 degrees, so I let it rise at a slightly warm spot around 30 degrees, and this time it took about 15 minutes. Let's do the finger test to see if the dough has proofed correctly. Dust lightly with flour and poke your finger deep into the dough. If the dent stays and you see little bubbles on the surface, it's good to go. If it springs back, give it 5 to 10 more minutes proofing and test again. Sprinkle flour on top and press gently to release gas. Turn the dough onto your work surface, keeping the smooth side facing up. From now on, always keep that smooth surface on top during shaping. This helps trap gas and gives you a clean finish after baking. First, measure the total amount of dough. Shape the dough into an oval, then divide it into 2 equal parts. This helps you get square-like pieces that are easier to shape into balls with the smooth surface outside. Now we shape the dough into tight balls. Flip it over and fold it in half. Seam side up and fold in half. Do this one more time. Tighten the shape by tucking the edges underneath. Place the balls seam side down and cover with a damp towel. Let them rest for 15 to 20 minutes. This short rest helps the dough relax, which makes shaping easier. While they rest, let's prepare the white chocolate and graze your loaf pan with butter or oil. Now that the dough has slightly puffed up, let's shape it. Place 2 balls seam side down and flatten them gently. Flip them over and roll it out with a rolling pin. When you roll out the dough, gather the dough from the top and bottom, and then roll it side to side. It forms a nice rectangle. Spread 12 grams of white chocolate chips over each piece of dough evenly. Fold the side edges toward the center so they overlap slightly. Lightly flatten the dough using a rolling pin and spread another 8 grams of white chocolate chips evenly over the surface. Now roll the dough up with a little tension, but do it gently to avoid tearing during ploughing. Seal the edge and place it seam side down in the glazed pan. Make sure the end of the roll is facing outward. Cover with plastic wrap or shower cap. Let it rise in warm place around 30 degrees until it fills about 90% of the pan. Preheat your oven to 210 degrees about 30 minutes before baking. The dough has risen well, just slightly below the rim of the pan. Place the lid on and bake at 200 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. After baking, gently tap the pan to release steam. Remove the loaf and let it cool on wire rack. To slice nicely, lay the loaf on each side and cut from the bottom corner as the base is firmer and easier to cut through. This gives you neat, beautiful slices. This blend is full of flavor. The bittersweet matcha and creamy white chocolate make it feel like a special treat. The small holes in the clam are where the white chocolate melted, and those spots are absolutely delicious. Thank you for watching. I hope you try this matcha and white chocolate shokupan at home. If you like this video, check out my other Japanese-style bread recipes. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time and happy baking!